Good afternoon, folks. As you guys know, I've been having a problem with the front differential on this thing. I replaced it, and after I replaced it, the damn wheels were binding. Like, it sounded like it was partially in limited slip and partially not. You know, and I just put a transfer case in, so that can't be the issue. I put a new prop shaft in, that can't be the issue. I put brand new axles in the front and brand new wheel hub assemblies, and that can't be the issue either. So, just making a turn that much, get off me, that much of a turn, like from here to here, it would start to bind, and you could see it in the wheels going like this a little bit. Like, you could kind of see the wheels shake, and it would coincide with the feeling and the vibrations in the floorboard and your steering wheel. So what I did is I wound up filling it up with this Valvoline fully synthetic 75 by 140, and it does contain the limited slip additive. But I put it in, and the last differential I had was for the Jeep Cherokee. This one is for a Jeep Commander, and I don't think it makes a difference. It's the same thing. So when I first did it and I used this stuff, this was fine. The amount of limited slip additive that they actually put in it was actually sufficient enough for the last differential. But being the fact that this is off a Jeep Commander and it's off of an 08 with less miles, maybe it has a little bit more friction in that four-wheel drive unit than mine did. Maybe mine were worn out, which allowed it to actually work just fine. I'm not really sure. But actually, went to Walmart, and they actually had this stuff. This was from Ford Performance Parts, not Dodge. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't make a difference because limited slip additive is limited slip additive. You know, when I owned a Jaguar, they said, oh yeah, you have to pay for this oil and tranny fluid, that's like $40 a quart. No, you don't. I made a video on that and showed that it actually took regular old Dextron Mercury 5 or 4 fucking transmission. It's stamped right on the case of the Jaguar. Even though the dealership swears up and down, you got to pay $40 a quart. Anyway, with that being said, it was binding. So I went to the store and to get cigarettes the other day, and it was still binding. I'm like, all right, so it's not the case of this thing having to warm up in the morning and it goes away after driving it, because it just simply didn't go away. So I turned around and I found this bottle of limited slip additive, and I bought it at Walmart. I believe it was like $14 or $15. Advanced Auto Parts and Honesdale wanted, I think it was like $17 for this little bottle. And guys, if you don't know what gear oil smells like, it smells bad. But if it has that limited slip additive in it and you don't know if it's listed on the container or not, all you have to do is smell it and smell it. You smell that? It's like a perm. Just, it's so bad and raunchy. It'll make your fluid stink real bad, so you'll know. So you can't go by the smell of it when you drain it out, because it's going to stink regardless. And it just stinks for days and days and days. If it's on your cross member, you'll just constantly smell it around your vehicle. But anyway, I put that in, and I went down to the cigarette store, and it still didn't stop thumping and clicking, like binding up kind of, when I went to go turn in and turn out. And then I pulled into the driveway after I came back. I was thinking, all right, that's not the problem. Oh, freaking well. But when I turned into the driveway, I noticed it stopped doing it. So I pulled up into the driveway right here, and I turned it full lock, and I backed up a little bit, and there was no wheels going like this. And I turned around and backed up more, turned the wheel the other way, backed up, went forward, turned, went forward this way, turned, shut it off, let it cool down, started it up, went in the woods. It didn't bind at all anymore. I went up over rocks and stumps and logs, and it didn't click, clunk, thunk, clank, nothing. It didn't do nothing. I pulled around to the other part of the yard here, made a full turn, and nothing. So I drove it all around through the fields, and it didn't bind up at all. That solved my problem. Folks, even though it says, and I've read this 100 times and I didn't believe it, and that's just being naive on my part, being a backyard mechanic and fairly knowledgeable in this area, I should have known to take the advice of what other people are saying. Is sometimes this stuff just does not have enough limited slip additive from the factory. So always make sure you put your own bottle of limited slip in, regardless if it says it or not, because I ran into this problem and my Jeep has been down for like 2.5 months now, all because of that problem. And they're trying to say it's the solenoid inside the differential, it's your prop shaft, it's your transfer case, it's this, it's that. I replaced it all and it still did it. And guess what, folks? It all came down to basically a $15 bottle of limited slip additive in the front differential, and it made a ton of difference in that binding up. So if you're having a problem with your limited slip seeming like it's partially engaged in four-wheel low, and when you make turns left or right, maybe add a little bit of fluid, change your fluid out, and add some new friction modifier additive. It might be worn out and may not be given it the proper lubrication it needed to provide the clutches to engage and disengage properly. So guys, this is Red Ant Reviews. I hope this video helped you and helped solve a problem that if your vehicle has that slight binding thing, this is very common with Jeep in general, four-wheel drives in general, all-wheel drives in general, if they're limited slip. So keep this in mind, guys, that I should have taken this for granted, and I would have had my Jeep on the road a hell of a lot faster if I would have. I had this laying in a box, and I had to look for it. I finally found it. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I found it. And it solved my problem. I was about to go take it to the shop and have them figure it out. And they probably would have said, you need this, the new clutch pack in your differential, or your, this is wrong, that. It probably would have cost me about $1,500 just to go to the shop to try to get this $15 bottle additive in, because that's how, needs to say, mechanics are just really not as honest as they used to be. You know, it's all about money, you know, and if time is money on a job, they're going to try to charge you time and time again. If it's going to take them 2 days and get them off the project of 3 other cars they could have made money on, they're going to charge you for it. So anyway, guys, I hope this video helps. It's Red Ant Reviews saying peace out. Love yourself, love your Jeeps, love your country.